Man, it seems like the Monday nights come quick.
They do. They always do.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Hey, we're Power and Speed. 908-751-0211. We're live on Facebook, but go.
Well, I was going to say, like us on Facebook. Listen to us live on Facebook.
Sorry, I blew that, didn't I?
And yeah, you doubled it.
Fuck.
And like us on iTunes, too, so.
Why not?
Yeah, we're still trying the Facebook Live thing. I asked Tad for a report as to how many live people listen there, and I think we got kind of...
We deleted it too fast.
Yeah, kind of got no data. But we'll see.
We had a couple thousand.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
We're going after everybody here.
Sounded good.
So
what's up? What went on when we got a caller already?
I don't know.
God.
Who would call this early?
We already have 3 Peak Live viewers.
That guy.
Yep, he could. Well, he's going to have to hang on a second. we'll get to him. Just hang in there.
Well,
buddy.
we gave him the number, and man, he was on it. He must have been sitting there with the 908.
That usually means it's hatred.
Oh.
That like somebody's going to hate on you for
We
something.
could use some hatred.
Uh-oh.
I would invite hatred. But you know me.
Of course.
What are you laughing at? You would invite hatred too.
No, I'm a peaceful fella.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't like any conflict. Let's see what this guy is. Hang on a second here. Yo, buddy, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How's everything going?
Good. Who are you and where are you from?
Yeah, my name is Chris. I'm from Hillsborough, New Jersey, so I'm not that far from you guys.
Oh, from last week.
Oh yeah. I saw your Facebook message
After
for
the fact.
The brief times that I'm perusing the Facebook.
So what's up?
No worries.
What's on your mind?
So here's what's going on. I had a Chrysler Crossfire that got totaled by a drunk driver last week, and now I'm looking for a new car. I'm gonna go. My first car was a 3rd gen Camaro. I'm gonna go back to the Camaro. So I did the pricing, and I found like a 2011 S10. I'm gonna pick up on Friday. S10, SS. I'll pick up on Friday.
I was gonna say because an S10's not a Camaro, but
yeah.
What do I know?
Yeah. So my goal is I'm looking to make 650 daily driven. I drive about 20 miles each way every day. So I'm looking. My budget's around $8,000. I'm looking for forced induction, and I want your guys' opinion. What's best to go with? Whether it's I should go with a supercharger. I'm a turbo guy. I used to be a Honda guy. I was big into the turbos back in the day. But I never did forced induction on an American car. With the Hondas, I used to brake it all the time. Brake axles, brake everything all the time. So I'm gonna have a note on this car. I can't. I want to push it, but be a little bit conservative and kind of make a safe daily driver.
I think it kind of goes without saying that the turbo stuff is the most gentle and reliable. I would say.
Well, sloppy mechanics.
So that's where you guys want to go with it.
What were you going to do?
Well,
look, this is everybody's opinion.
Okay. Well, here's my opinion. Not that I know anything about this stuff, but you're saying you got an 11 Camaro and it's paid for, but you're going to have $8,000 to play with for the induction system.
No, I'm gonna hold a note on it, so I'm still gonna be making payments on it, but I have an additional $8,000 for induction.
Okay, if it was me, I would look into the Edelbrock supercharger system, and here's why: you can buy it, have it installed. It comes with its own can tune, although it is tunable. And from what I understand, you're talking about 600 wheel or 600 flywheel horsepower.
My goal is 600 wheel. I mean, if I could have a high 11-second car.
Oh, well, that's easily done. I believe their system makes in the mid to high 5 wheel horsepower. Okay. It's a really good system. Pat Musey Performance was installing them for a while here. And actually, the guy that's installing Tad's engine into his Subaru did 3 or 4 of them and did the dyno work. And it's a really good system, really clean system. Edelbrock doesn't pay me to say that stuff or sponsor our show, but they're going to have to now. But that's the way I would go, just from a simplicity standpoint. Power's always on. It's a good system, good kit, easy to install.
Okay, now here's my question. I'm a turbo. I came from turbo on the import. Why would you take that over like a Hellion turbo kit or something different like that?
I just told you why.
Well, what Tom's saying, it's ease and usability of it. It sounds like from a bolt-on, just get you there. It's perfect. And turbo stuff is a little more involved.
Yes. When you got to have a tuner involved, it's just if this is an entry level 500 to 600 wheel horse, daily driver, true daily driver,
True daily driver.
It's the way to go. I would say.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
All right. Cool. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, man. We'll send you our PayPal address, and I think that question was worth at least, what, $50? Easy 50.
No doubt.
Whatever it is, let me know.
All right. Thanks, man.
Spread the word, man.
Yep.
All right, I will. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote a thing in.
Yeah, I remember. I remember him being on.
I will backtrack with what you said. See, I'm in go retarded fast mode. You know, that's,
and you're right in almost every case. But here's a guy that sounded.
What?
All right, you're killing me. There's gonna be a fist fight in this. We got to get cameras. But no, you are. You're right a lot of the time, and I'm not saying you're wrong now. But he asked. He sounded like an entry level guy.
Yeah.
And I saw how those kits went. And actually, we could call Rich one day and talk about that if need be. He did 3 or 4 of them when he was still in Lakewood. And they told him the power it was going to make, and they installed it. These are Subaru guys.
Right there.
Never did a Camaro before. Installed it, flipped the tune in, did nothing, and it was, within 5 horsepower.
See, that's kind of hard to beat.
It really is.
If you can get a nice bolt-on, truly functional package like that, that's kind of nice.
We should be cha-ching in Edelbrock right now. That's what we should be doing.
We probably could.
Well,
lean on them a little
more
bit.
Sponsorship here.
Somebody out there, call Edelbrock. Tell them what's going on here.
Should I link them in?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody is, and I don't knock any of the turbo kit manufacturers or people that are doing this, but it seems like most. Who was your guys, Ted? APS?
No, that not for the turbo. That was a green. That's Force Performance.
No. But I'm saying
you
like
had the kit thing.
Yeah, but you have fuel rails from them. Isn't that the company? APS.
Those were APS rails.
Where were they? Australia.
Their whole kit and everything was neat.
They seem like they were very professional at manufacturing. They had castings, for exhaust.
Yep. They had that for the Corvettes too for a little while.
Yeah.
I guess they went. But I don't know if they stopped.
And again, I'm not knocking any of the turbo kit guys, and this is going to be one of the points of the conversation with Tim. Is it seems like that when you're buying a turbo kit, you're buying something that somebody makes, like maybe you order it and they've got some of the parts done and they finish it up and they ship it to you.
That could be.
And I'm not saying that, mass production is the way to get everything, right or better, but there's more of it out there. There's more people using it. To me, it's a little, I don't think that the turbo stuff is as mainstream, ironically, because it should be the one with better power potential.
Yeah.
But
and kind of easy use too. I mean, they're milder on the stuff, on the parts. But I will say, APS, their Corvette stuff, and I'm not an expert on this at all, but from what I understand, their stuff is pretty sought after in the used market because it was so good.
Yeah, and it's gone. And I think they discontinued it from. I think Howard said it. They got sick of dealing with American Corvette guys.
Yeah. American idiots.
Yeah.
Figure that out.
Yep. Send me a set of manifolds and a pair of socks and a Corvette bow tie.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we were talking before, and before Tim gets on, you had brought up a point about why not to use something other than the 5.3.
Yeah.
Like why are you stuck with the 5.3?
And my reasoning is really because of the conversation we had prior about cylinder heads. You're so locked in to, I guess, actually a cathedral port head, which is not at all the way you want to go. I don't know. It would just be better if we can go to 4-inch.
Now, listen, I'm not trying to take the route of being superstitious or we can't mess with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not. But I remember back we did some super stock stuff, small block super stock stuff,
mm-hmm.
and it was very small bore. And because that was so erased from my brain, what was a 305 bore? Anybody remember? Aren't they 3.8 something?
That's a
3.780.
Yeah, they're tiny.
Yeah.
Okay. We did some 305 NHRA super stock stuff.
Yep.
And the block, the way we had to get the block is I believe it was a block that was a 4-inch block that was
sleeved down.
It was either sleeved down or it was a block before it was even rough bored. And because it could be, it was 305 bore plus 70. That was legal. So we did 68 or whatever. You would torque the head on that thing and it wouldn't even move. The bore wouldn't move. It wouldn't budge. Mm-hmm. You torque the main webs. The bottom of the board didn't move. Nothing moved.
Because there was so much cylinder wall in it.
Yeah.
something to be said about that, obviously.
Yeah.
Bore it over.
But
Anyway.
then you have the problem of shrouding.
I hear you, but
So you know what? This is all coming full circle now. Now I see where you're going.
I like the idea of the bore because that block has enough structure.
Yep.
I mean, you'd have, and I understand what other people are saying. Look, well, a 5.7 lasts, a 6 liter lasts, an LS2, 3, 9.5, whatever the numbers are now. They seem to last.
Viper.
Viper, of course, my favorite car from the 90s.
Back in the day.
I think I just can't even get into it because now you're going to get me started in football.
I know
it's like golf.
We're completely off the rails. Yeah.
Can't even get on that.
Hole in one.
Dad, you're so, you're going to make me bring up your football comment. You're gonna.
It's going to happen.
I look at this, that the structure of the bore assists in head gaskets, assists in bottom end stability in the crank and the main webs.
Yeah.
All of that stuff to me, no matter how much power it makes, it has to last.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys that have beat on the 5.3, Sloppy, Matt, Jason Dozier, who we got to have come back on. I was talking with Kevin, and he does want to come on again, and he's got some updates as far as what he's
I wonder
done.
if anybody calls Jason Bull.
What?
That'd be a good nickname for him with his last name Dozier.
Bulldozer.
Oh, Jesus, that was bad.
Why did I have to be the one to
That
pick up on
was
that?
really bad. That was bad.
That wasn't us. That was Tom.
It was.
So I like the idea of the structure of that block for longevity.
Yeah.
These people put all these passes on it. So you're like, well, look, why don't we go to 3905? It opens us up a little more for cylinder head. And look, normally I'd be right there with you. It's more cubic inch. Everything about it's better. Everything about it's better, except for the big question of longevity.
Well, now I see where you're going with the head question that you sent me that I failed on. Because I guess if we can get the heads to work the way we want to with the forced induction, then the bore size is going to be inconsequential.
I talked.
That's what I was thinking.
There was a head porter we used that did any tray superstock stuff, and I'm sorry, like people, like Tad always says, oh well, it's not a 2-barrel, so you're not interested, or it's not a superstock, so you're not interested. But it's what your foundation is built on, and it's what you learn. And and look, if anybody doesn't understand superstock, it's basically pro stock with less money. We try that hard to get every little bit out of it. And we're not talking about the guys that, decide he's going to pick a motor out of, something goofy that happens to fit in a GT class because it makes 400 from the factory and it's rated at 150. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the competitive side of things. If we had sent, I got involved with a Ford project and they were the Yates style head. And I don't remember, Tom, if you were involved with getting them or whatever, but we got a set of heads that were, I think they were a restrictor plate head. I told this story before, and they were awful. Mm-hmm. They had a ridiculous, valve seat to port percentage area.
Mm-hmm.
It was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And we sent it to the head guy, McDowell, and he's like, forced induction. He's like, hell, you want like no window, you want no nothing, just make the thing huge. And it picked up, because it was bad at first. Like it didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It picked up like 170 horsepower. It was stupid.
Just making it big.
Just going through the throat and reducing the window, to something that was next to nothing. Like things you would not do
and
for
going,
normally
and
aspirated
and
porting.
going up on the percentage.
Yes. So now if you take that mindset, because again, I've said it on this a million times. I have no experience with forced induction stuff like what we're talking about here.
Not even with the old Ford 302 stuff or no?
No, but but back then nothing was anywhere near as serious as it is now. So, I mean, does port volume really come into play? Is it entirely, window area? How much does valve size matter? Where does it really come down? What is the deciding, your limiting factor of the cylinder head? And then that tells you what you can do for cylinder head. You
just talked about knowing your foundation and where you come from and all that stuff. And that leads me to something, on the GTRs, all the fast cars for the longest time just had stock cylinder heads because they were, pound and boost through them and it didn't matter. And it's a good head. And really they haven't picked up that much with all the crazy port work they do now, which kind of lends itself to your hypothesis.
Well, was it that good a head in the first place?
Well, it might have been that good a head in the first place. And that is a 4-valve head. I think that
could have been.
I think those things are probably so optimized the way they are. They probably have a lot of head to engine size relationship to begin with.
Yeah, but my point is when they made them better, it didn't pick up as much as you would think because of the boost levels that they're at.
I would agree with that, but again,
so you're saying it wasn't a total pile of shit in the first place,
right? It wasn't. This head, this particular head that I was talking about, that Yates head, I believe that like the window area, I want to tell you, I think it was like 68%, 72%. It was something stupid. It was a plate head, and it could have even been something because we told them we didn't really care. We just needed the castings. We'd fix them. We'd make them what we wanted.
It must have been good for them.
Well, either that or that's why I got it.
No, it was good for them.
It was, but that's what was wrong. So of course there's a big change. You made that change and it was very evident. But again, GTR for 2 intake valves, right?
Yeah.
A lot of valve area. I mean, you kind of have to wonder if that relationship would hold true. I mean, this really probably is engine and head specific. But anyway, that was my reason. And you said we were going to argue about it. And that's why I like the idea of a 5.3.
Well, I will tell you, the Cathedral Port head, while it's the worst LS head you can buy from what I understand or what I gather, it's still not a bad head. I mean, if you can move the valve 600 to 650, it's not terrible. I mean, they're way better than a standard small block Chevy head. Do you remember what's his name, Wayne Horowitz did with CMS in the Pennsylvania dirt track deal?
Is he the guy that put the LS heads on originally?
Yeah. He drilled
I thought it was Lombardo. But it was
no, it was Wayne.
It was Wayne?
Wayne at CMS. Yeah.
Well, then he's my hero because that is a guy that reads a roll book and says, "Gotcha."
Right.
That's awesome.
And I mean, I think he picked up. I think I'm right in like 60 horsepower. So the heads are better than 23 degree stuff by far, anyway.
But then let's look at guys like Jason and Sloppy Matt,
and that's what they have, right?
Stock head.
Yeah. So. I'm overthinking it.
I just like the idea of structure because I know how much better everything becomes. Get hiccups.
I agree. I mean, I would never argue that. And that's not what I was arguing. I was arguing the big bore unshrouding.
Listen, don't forget, I'm the guy when I was talking about making a streetcar and I wanted it to be nice and perfect. I was trying to make the thing like 570 inches in a standard deck LS case. Got to be a way to do it.
I remember.
So,
well, there is, but not a standard case though.
Well, yeah, I mean, they got tall decks, but I was looking for the biggest package. And that's when we had the argument about compression because you're like, why would you do that? They don't spool. Motor's going to be like 440 inches. I think that the thing's going to be drivable and fine.
Yeah.
That's always how I looked at it.
It's spool.
But this, like I said, I've never told everybody I know all about this stuff because I don't. This is outside. So I have to rely on what everybody else comes up with.
Yep.
So if there's a good head guy that you think you can talk to ask that, I think that would be ideal.
It'd be really cool if somebody that knew something would call in and we could talk about it. Where's this guy? Where's your caller that was going to call in?
He's got 2 minutes.
No, he doesn't. He's got 0 because
that was 7:20 or no? Or that was the first guy you were talking about.
You know what the problem is? He's West Coast. He could have his time screwed up. I'll send him a text.
Well, it's too late now.
Yeah, well,
it's not too late. He can call after 10.
Okay. How could he have his time? How could you give that excuse? He's on the West Coast, so he has his time screwed up.
Because it's a little bit of
he would have already called then.
Well, I had it happen with a guy before. I said, I told that guy.
He's on this planet. He should know what.
I understand that. But didn't you hear me tell the guy that my customer that I was talking to, I said, look, I'm going to be tied up. Call me after a 7:15 East Coast time. Or 8:15 East Coast time.
Yeah, but he was in Ukraine or some shit.
No, he was
Albania?
No, he was going
Poland?
west. No, he was in Heartland.
Heartland. Come on, Tom. Heartland. Don't you know where Heartland time is?
This is him. So see, he heard you hating on him.
Well, he should have called when he was supposed to. I'm going to hate on him now.
No, you're not.
All right.
Hey,
Chewy, what's up?
You're late, man.
I was listening to the show, and I'm like, are they going to call me or am I supposed to call?
So it wasn't time. You're just a dopey sucker.
There's a mistake.
Yeah, I was just listening, about the GTRs, the warheads, and all that stuff. I was pretty entertained with the podcast. I almost forgot that I was supposed to call, too. I was like, oh, shit.
Well, that's when we know we're doing a good job.
I know. Yeah. You're part of the show, and you didn't call. That's good.
Now, listen, I'll set this up a little bit. A while back, I had brought up, and the Facebook thing, I'm not real good at it. But there's this guy, Chuck, and it's Chuck, what is it? ERB is what it says after it, or EBR? I still don't remember.
EBR.
Okay. I'm sure it stands for something. We'll let him figure it out. No matter when I turn on Facebook, no matter when I look through, his posts are there. Yeah. And it's about promoting events and everything else. I mean, this guy works.
Yep.
So we had given him a little shout out when we did a while back because it was amazing. But then when I actually talked to him a little bit, I kind of got a deal about how this all started and where he started his events and where he's at right now. So anyway, his name he goes by Chewy, which is the easiest way. Yep. So Chewy, man, have at it. Tell us how you got started in this.
Well, it's like anything, we got into cars and we always street race, we're young, we're, probably 2002, 2003, we street race and all that. You're young, of course, there's nowhere to do it. I mean, there's a track, but they're really far. And then one day we're just sitting there, and then we live in a really small community and we have a lot of airstrips, private airstrips around. And we decided to go talk to this guy that owns an airstrip and we're like, hey, you let us borrow your airstrip to do our racing event. The guy just looked at us. There's me and my friend, Oscar. And then, he looked at us and, let's do it, So we're like, oh, wow, I can't believe he said yes. So we started doing this event called DTT Racehorse. The movie Fast and the Furious had really come out, so Racehorse was in there, So we were into imports at that time. We still are, right now we have a domestic instead of imports. Anyways, so we started racing there, a bunch of people showed up. We had probably 80 cars racing and 300 spectators. This is back to 2003. And we're like, oh, this is kind of cool. So we started doing it more and more and more. And 14 years later, we're actually still doing it, but it's a lot more structured now. It's a bigger thing. And then we also started renting tracks to do events where we really started 3 years ago with the West Coast Shootout event. We started in Spokane, Washington. And now we're doing it in Bakersfield, we're doing it in Oregon, and then in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we have this event called the Midwest Shootout.
Yeah, and the Tulsa one will probably be pretty good for you. Now, you said at some of these events you've had upwards of 3,000 people, right?
Yes. Yeah, the local one that we do, the racehorse one, the private airstrip, has been huge. It's been 14 years in the making, so it's already, the one we have in April, we're going to be expecting 3,500, 4,000 spectators, a lot of people, a couple hundred cars. And the ones at the track, we got probably over 2,000 people in the last event in Oregon, and we're expecting to double that this year. The event's pretty popular. It's really hyped up. It's imports and domestics, so that's pretty interesting. When everybody likes to match, who's got the fastest car, displacement and this and that, so we bring you classes for both cars, and people really like that. The import versus domestic action.
And the one thing you told me is pretty interesting. It's not just a race; it's an event. Like there's food and all kinds of stuff.
Yes. So we do. We have a car show as well. We have the car show. We have it's gonna be 30 to 40 categories. For imports and domestics. If you want to just hang out, take your car for the show. We have a DJ playing music. There's food, lots of food. One thing that separates our events from other events, every time after we're done with the event, we always take a lot of food. We call it a carne asada for the racers, So we take lots of food. If you signed up to race, you can go have some food with us. So after the race is over, we feed all our racers and the pit crews, and not a lot of events do that. And we like to make that relationship with the racer, where we take care of them during the race and after the race, have a one-on-one relationship. And they really like that, and we also enjoy it a lot. Really fun.
Fantastic, man.
I'm there for that, man.
Well, I mean, the problem is for us, we're East Coast.
Yeah.
So for us to get there, it's you never know. Tom might show up on these things because he never knows where he's going to be.
That's true.
But no, give the dates your upcoming stuff, man, so that everybody understands.
Okay, so the West Coast Shootout in Oregon is going to be April 29th in Woodburn, Oregon. And then we're going to have another one in Bakersfield, California, at Famoso Raceway. That's going to be May 13th. And then we're going to the Midwest Shootout in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is going to be in September 9th. And then we got one of those guys from Street Outlaws going, the Cuddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andrade. You probably guys know that guy. He's going to be attending our event, racing our small tire class, and that's just the first one that's confirmed so far. So the event's going to be pretty good. I'm pretty excited about the Tulsa one's our first year there, and I'm really excited about that event. I'm excited about all of them, but this one's a little different because, the Midwest and Oklahoma is where you have a lot of cars all around, so it's pretty fun.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, fantastic. Listen, we'll plug your events. I'll get with you, off the air, and we'll get a real good schedule so we can have it in like our little talking points. Maybe we'll make Tad say it every now and then.
Yeah,
The live commercial.
and keep us posted.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's awesome. I mean, the Oklahoma one, that might even be something we could get to, kind of something in the middle. We'll see.
Yeah. Come down. I always take like about 200-300 pounds of meat, so we have all that carne asada. Yeah, we need some help to eat it all.
We can help with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
All right. Well,
all right, Chewy. Well, thanks for calling in, man, and we'll do our best and keep up the good work. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
All right. See
Thanks,
you, buddy.
bro.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
He's, I mean,
Well, that's cool.
he's an amazing, I mean, for a guy who doesn't promote for a living,
Yeah.
he's been killing.
Yeah, getting that many people coming to the track.
yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. All right, so now we've got Tim from Coast.
We do. Hey, Tim.
What's happening, guys? How
Hey.
are you?
All right.
Good. You?
Good.
We appreciate you coming on short notice, man. We know you're you're busy this time of year. How's everything going?
It's been crazy busy, thank God.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything's going good.
That's great. Now you've got retarded Mike, who's finally going to get started, who's going to jump right in the middle of
Yeah.
everything you got to do.
That's okay. I'm good with that.
Why don't you start off telling them that you actually have transportation for the car to get down there? So this is going to happen.
Yeah, it's pretty much all set up. The week before Speed Week starts, all these guys go down there. Well, and that's all kind of messed up too.
That's like next week, right?
I think it is next week.
Or 2 weeks is.
Well, here's what happens. The dirt stuff runs kind of a little bit before.
And,
so people
yeah.
generally go down there a week before for
Right,
that.
right.
Because there is our dirt stuff, like the Northeast Dirt Modifieds, they run after, I think, sprint cars, maybe. I don't know. It's all messed up.
Yeah.
So I have provisions to get the car there, so it's all pretty good. I believe it might actually be as early as next week. I got to check with the guy that's going to drive it down. So,
Hey, one thing before I forget, Tim, I'm going to be down there 28 of this month until the 4th. So we got to do dinner or something.
Absolutely.
I'll let you know exactly when I'm down, but I'm definitely coming.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work.
all right, Mike, start asking questions.
well, Tom's been yelling at me
Bonehead.
because every time I ask him about something, he's like, "What do you think Tim does?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Okay.
I get it, dude. But I mean, I don't know what you do or don't want to do. One of the things, and we talked about a little bit earlier, and it just kind of worked out in there, that there aren't things like turbo kits, made that I think are
Right.
nice. You know what I mean? If you're trying to really accomplish something, there's nothing any good. So, we had talked to Howard from Redline. He has trans and all the other components that, go in the S end of the car because it's so strange. But
Right.
I'm trying to figure out who's going to actually handle which parts.
Okay.
So, I mean, is a turbo kit, or the turbocharger, I mean, headers and obviously stuff like that is what you do. But I mean, where do you say, uncle, that, okay, I'm not doing that?
No, I mean, as far as all the turbo stuff, I'll do whatever you want. We can make anything.
Okay,
All the, cold side, hot side, whatever you need.
perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Told you.
I know you did.
You pretty much tell me, how you want it done, or if you don't know how you want it done, or I'm open to suggestions, whatever you want to do.
Well, here's one of the things he was worried about. See, apparently it's pretty tight and it requires that a different oil pan be on the car. So he's like, well, I mean, should I ask Tim if he'll drop the front cross member and take the oil pan off and put the right one on so he could put the kit? I'm like, yeah, he'll do that. As long, you're paying for it.
Yeah.
Excuse me for being considerate, Tom. I didn't want to make the guy do gas station work, first before he worked. You know what I'm saying?
I know you're a very considerate guy.
So, I mean, because the idea here is this is going to be a 5.3 base motor, but the motor that's in the car is exactly dimension-wise, exactly what it needs to be. I mean, the 5.3, they swap. So I don't see why you couldn't use the motor that's in there that does actually happen to run as the dummy motor to put everything together.
Yep.
As long as it has, the pan externally is the same that you're going to, or if you're going to supply me with a pan, as you said, and I'll switch it, that's fine.
Well, yeah, it'll be the exact pan that's going on the build is what we'll give you.
And, Tim, if you think that there's a place doing that, I mean, you might look at this and be like, listen, I could make you a bracket to do this and move this here accessory wise, and the turbo should be up top. They should be right here. I'll take your guidelines. I mean,
okay,
whatever you think. Most of the kits end up low. That's where they put them.
right. Well, pretty much we're going to have to figure out what accessories you're using, what accessories you're not using. Whether you're going to reposition things or just eliminate them. We'll go over that when you bring the car down.
Okay.
Yeah, because the idea is, this is not just a Dragweek car. Mike's going to drive this thing. He wants, everything to work, and he's, so it's going to be a cool job, and it's also going to be his street car, 8-second street
So you're pretty much going to leave it then, with the factory components, AC and all that stuff.
I'd like to. And, like I said, people make some kits that do this. I've seen one or two of them, and they could be wonderful for all I know. And people do put them on factory cars. But then when you get into, okay, you have a particular requirement turbocharger size of what you want to use to make the power level you need to, then you don't know if you can, they make their kit, they said it fits perfect, but it fits perfect with this particular turbo. What about this one? Well, I don't know. You could modify it.
Right.
Nobody needs to get into that.
No, we're better off just starting from scratch and doing it that way.
Yep. Okay.
Just, so whatever turbo you're going to use and whatnot, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. And I think I had talked to you about this a while back, or I might have mentioned it to Howard, who's the Corvette guy.
He's looking at me right now, Tim, so this is
the front, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm still not a radio guy, you know what I mean? The front cross member in that car that holds the motor. It holds the motor and the lower control arms, and the leaf spring goes through it. The leaf spring's out, gets a coil over in the front, and I guess everybody does that, and that's not a big deal. But what I'm wondering is, looking at all the Mustangs and all the cars I've seen that have the replaceable front, K members, which is kind of what mine is. And again, this is probably one of those things you're gonna have to look at it and say, we could make one, and it would open up a lot of real estate for getting tubes through and hoses through and everything. But I guess that's going to be your call.
Right. That's, again, if that's what you need, that's what we'll do.
Okay.
I do it for the, for, like you said, the Mustangs and all that other stuff. It's no different with that.
Okay.
He's got no fear, man.
No, I know.
I did a Supra, believe it or not, with 540 big block Chevy in it, and I did that. I utilized the same type of K-member, but I made it all out of chrome moly just to give you all that extra room. Because with the stock one, there was just no room whatsoever.
Yeah, because this, probably in a Supra, it's probably like that too. I don't think Mustangs were. I think Mustangs were just steel formed whatevers. But the Corvette is this big, giant aluminum casting, all boxed all over the place and everything. It takes up a lot of room. And it also is made to hold the leaf, which isn't going to be there anymore.
Right, yep.
Wonder if somebody makes something.
There's a couple things, but they look like they're drag only, no street use, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Wait a minute. So somebody put a 540 in a Supra?
Say what?
I have it at the shop, actually. It's sitting at my shop.
Oof. That sounds like
sitting there too long. I'm trying to get the guy to come and pick it up. That's
really funny, because that sounds like something that somebody would do just to fuck with the Camaro guy that put a 2JZ in it.
Well, it's actually one of Anthony DeSoma's motors that was in another customer of mine's Chevelle. They took it out because he went to a 632, I believe, and it's got a couple stages of nitrous on it with a tunnel ram and stuff. It's pretty silly.
And it's a real race car Supra, back half, or is it a full?
No, it's actually a street type Supra, and I took the independent out of the back, and I put a 4-link underneath the stock frame and everything with coilovers and stuff, and a Mustang 8.8.
No shit.
Yeah, and it's got a Turbo 400 behind it, so it's pretty neat.
Sleeper.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't worry about asking Tim to think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. I've been telling him.
Now,
it's
go ahead, Tim. I'm sorry.
No, like I said, I'll make it as easy as I can for you, so you don't have to go searching for all that stuff, and it'll make it easy to work on too. If we have to, like I said, make a K member or whatever it takes.
Okay, and there's some other stupid things, but these are all trivial things, but just things that rattle around my head, like the battery cutoff switch. I don't really want to put the battery in the back to now run the battery cables forward, and I don't want to run battery cables to the back just to make the shutoff switch work in the back. And someone
that's an easy fix.
Okay, good.
We mount the cutoff switch up in the front under the engine compartment, and I just run a cable back like a parachute cable.
Perfect.
And run it off of that. It's simple.
That's what guy Kevin said they do with the dragster. So perfect.
Yeah, I've done it on door cars already. It's no big deal.
Okay. This is where it gets, I have no idea. I don't know how you're going to answer this question. We talked about the parachute mount.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how they attach to a Corvette. I imagine that's best left to a chassis guy.
Right.
Any chance that could also be converted into like a tire carrier?
Oof, I've never had that question before. A tire carrier.
Well, here's the thing. If tires are about the only thing you can't really, I mean, you have to carry them with you if you want to use them for Dragweek. We were talking about like sending tires to each racetrack or hotel,
not legal,
but it's not legal. And so it's either a trailer with tires, which we could do, or, you know, Mike is set, and I agree with him that we're not going to work on the car. We're going to try to get it so it works. And so it's reliable and it makes it through the race. And if it breaks something, we're not going to be taking heads off and all that nonsense. So to have a trailer with all kind of spares and everything is kind of going to be silly, but we have to carry tires.
Okay.
So that's why he's asking that what seems to be retarded question, and it actually is not.
But I've seen some guys that do that. I mean, I've seen some cars that have tires on the back.
Well, yeah, there's those deer carrier things that you just slide into the trailer.
Well, that's
hitch.
an irregular hitch.
Yeah.
This is a parachute.
Well,
We could figure something out of some tubing and stuff. We could make something up.
Yeah. I think it'd be kind of neat if you could have something to go on the back. I mean, look, if it could be made that it's okay, a pair of tires, a couple gas cans, a little storage pouch to put some shit in, and we're on our way, I'm good with that.
Anything else?
I know. He's going to want a small fridge, you know, maybe his blow-up doll. What the hell, man?
Wait a minute. You're writing this down, right?
It started out tires. Now you got fuel cans and the
Well, I'm just thinking
space
about
shuttle.
Look, he seemed very accommodating, and you said he can make anything.
Okay.
We put a porta-john on there, too.
Yeah, why not, right?
And a microwave. So
But I'm sure, you know, anybody that's worked on a Corvette understands. I'm not saying that you couldn't get the heads off in a car. I'm not saying that you couldn't, but I mean, I don't want to do that.
Who wants to, right?
Yeah, I want to, and this, again, this is where I come across sounding like a real dick. I can't imagine that if you do everything using your head with this particular car, with the Driveline stuff, it's a street car that's now made to go fast. It's not a race car. It turned into a street car to get from point A to point B.
Right.
I mean, I think it should last, and I think it should be problem-free. I think.
It should be.
Or
if it's planned out correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, like things like I was talking to one of my friends, Jeff. I had a Corvette with 300 on it. Never got an alternator. Never got a water pump. I mean, like that, the regular stuff, that old stuff that used to fail doesn't seem to anymore.
Right. Exactly.
wait, you mean your friend that's taking a trailer with 2 spare alternators?
No, I said Jeff, not retard.
True. Hey,
Okay.
Tim, is that super guy? Is he from New Jersey?
He's from New York.
Okay. Somebody on our chat room just said he's from New Jersey.
That's from New York.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Almost.
He actually works in New Jersey, but no, he's from New York.
Does it have a 118 millimeter turbo on it?
I don't think so.
All right. This guy's just
It
telling.
had a turbo, but it was nowhere near that big. It had the super motor in it when he first was driving it, because it's a street car, and it was going, I think, mid-9s with the super motor in it.
Yep.
Driving it every day.
Wow. Is it a nice car?
Yeah, it's actually pretty clean.
Interesting. Well, I'll see it when I'm down there. Well, hopefully the guy will pick it up and pay you before I get down there, but you know how that goes, right?
Yep.
So what else you got, Mike?
I'm looking. I'm checking down my list.
Oh, okay.
Checking it
Oh,
twice.
he's got a list. I like it.
Yeah, because I got all this stuff rattling around in my head. And I know that like probably one of the dumbest things was that battery shut off, but it's just, you're reading down the list of what NHRA requirements are. And then you're like, oh man, it's a street car. You know,
Right.
you start to wonder about how inconvenient this stuff gets.
Well, where is the battery? Is it
Battery's in the front.
Stock location, right?
Oh, it is in the
It's-
front of the car.
It's in the front,
Oh,
behind
right,
the front
right,
tire.
Right behind the front tire. Right.
Yep, behind the front tire.
It's kind of a shitty place.
Talk to GM about
We
it.
could put a light battery in there, right?
Just write everything down, as you think of it. This way I have a list.
Okay.
We already went through those lightweight battery things earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. They work. Tim, have you done many Corvettes? I'm just curious. Have you done many Corvettes?
I've done some, not a whole bunch.
Have you done the mini tub thing? Or, I mean, do you know how much tire it could fit?
I've done them. I don't remember what the tire size actually was. But we can figure that out once it's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably the easiest thing. And then we get into the question of shocks. Like, what does it take to make the thing go down the track? I mean, that's where things to me get a little goofy.
Professional driver?
Shocks are one of the most important things you're going to have on there. So, depending on budget, I'd rather put a real good shock front and back.
Okay.
What do you like?
Depending on, I have to see what length and stuff we're going to use. JRIs are real good. Strange, I've had real good success with them. They've come out with that new shock now with the canister on it that is like a Pro Mod type shock that works very, very well. Sandtoughs are good. So, we have a choice of what we can use on it. Okay.
And I mean, I wonder about spring rates. How you get to something that
you can't go by the given charts that they give you by front weight and rear weight, because if you ever did that, the car never works. You just go by experience on what we've used and what we know works. So I'll take care of all that when I'm doing the car.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, he'll know.
All right. Well, I mean, that's got all my questions until he's actually sitting there looking at the thing. I mean,
did you? Is the car? Is the interior out of it? Is it? Or is it still have? Is it all together?
It's a full car, isn't it?
Yep, it's driving down there.
Oh, it's actually being driven down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is Tom taking it?
No.
No.
He's sitting right here.
His brother's taking it.
Really?
It ain't even my brother. It's just people that are going down to Florida.
That's
so
right.
that everybody goes down there. So
Yeah.
it just happens to work out well.
Party car.
Nice. Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. All right, good. Well,
So-
I guess.
And it doesn't matter to you when it gets there, right? Obviously, probably sooner the better, but it's going to be, in a week or so.
That's fine. I have
Okay.
a shop full of cars right now, so that gives me time.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
I think that's probably everything I got. I don't think I have any other questions that.
Yep. Yeah.
If you think of something, write everything down. This way, you have it so you don't forget about it, and then when the car gets there, I have a list.
Okay.
Yeah, you and I can compare notes, and before I go, and whatever you don't think of that your guy goes down with,
Yeah.
I'll get with Tim.
And then we get into the whole thing like, what does Howard want to do the Driveline stuff, or if it's down there, does Tim want to put that stuff in?
What, the trans?
Yeah.
I think Howard's going to do that.
Yeah, because all that stuff gets very Corvette goofy and specific.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll discuss that. All right. Well, Tim, we know you got shit going on. You're busy, and we appreciate you calling.
Problem.
Why don't you just plug your place, give the phone number out like usual.
It's Coast Chassis Design, 386-756-8001.
All right. Listener has a question. What kind of price is a real good shock? Like, what do they cost?
Real good? But I don't know. You have to define.
Well, I guess like JRI good drag shock.
The typical ones that you can use for like a 10.5 car or a Pro Mod style, for $1,500 and up.
Okay.
Per shock.
No, per pair.
The pair.
Oh, that's not terrible.
But I mean, if you get crazy, you can get up to $5,000-$6,000.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it adds up in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, then if you get into the pro stock stuff, forget it. It's you don't even want to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how'd you make out with that Pro Mod deal that was wrecked and you fixed the whole thing?
It's done. I'm waiting for them to come. They're from New York also.
Fuckers, they needed it in 5 seconds, right? And then, yeah.
It's done sitting on Pro Jacks in my shop right now. The only thing it lacks is the wheelie bars because they got destroyed, the carbon fiber wheelie bars. So he's having a set made right now, and they should be down here next week.
Wow.
So he's going to either next week or the week after, and then they're going to come down and we're going to go test it.
Cool.
So
that should be fun.
Yeah.
All right, well, get with whatever you're doing. Like I said, we appreciate you calling. We'll be talking, and I'll give you a call. A couple of days before I come down, we'll get together and do something.
Okay, good.
All right.
Good.
All right,
man.
great. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Talk to you later.
Well, I mean, it sounds like, we got a pretty decent plan.
Yeah, and he knows what he's doing, man.
You understand what I was saying? I didn't want to make the guy change an oil pan. And,
yeah, I did.
And you see, this is like this, and you see, and maybe this is me being a little bit, too, I don't want to use the term considerate, but, he said, oh, is the car all together? It's like the second time he's asked if it's all together, because I feel bad making him take the thing apart.
Yeah.
But by the same token, if you're going to put a cage in it, I don't want to have to try to put the shit back together after the cage is there. I think it all kind of has to go together, doesn't it?
Yep.
Well, he always did that before, didn't he?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, you think about taking the dash out of a Corvette, that's got to suck.
Yeah.
I've never done it.
I don't think they take them out.
No?
Nope. The good guys just...
Like take a window out?
Yeah, take the window out, drill a hole. I mean, that's how Joey at Precision did all the cars that when he was doing D'Amore's Lightnings.
Yeah.
He would never take everything out. It's too crazy. So they popped the windshield out, and he would contour it right along the inside of the windshield pillar and drill a hole down and good to go. That's probably how it happens. We don't know what the fuck.
I don't. You know what stinks for that, though? Somebody actually has to take the dashboard out. You're screwed.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't plan for that. You got to do what you got to do.
True.
Anyway. All right. So we need some questions now. And there's nothing. All right. So good night, folks. No, that was good. It was good talking to him, and I'm glad you feel a little more warm and fuzzy about.
I didn't never feel not warm and fuzzy, but I don't want to push somebody outside of what they normally want to do. And we've got multiple people in here, involved with this.
I know exactly what you mean. You're thinking Jerry Bickle's not going to be changing fucking oil pans.
Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. If I send a car to Jerry Bickle, be like, hey, by the way, you're going to find in the hatch of the car, in the back there in the spare tire. Well, there's a new GM factory oil pan and pickup and everything. While you're at it, pop that pan on there for me, will you?
And you know what he would say? He would say, okay.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't.
But I hear you. I understand the feelings, and you're a very nice man.
I think so.
I never understood how you sell that, but I guess you really. Anyway, we had to talk about something else too, damn it, and I forget what it is.
Well, we kind of, I don't know if we really completely, well, I guess we kind of did, because you kind of agreed with me on the 5.3 motor side of things.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted the structure there. That was my logic. And if you can find out any more on that, that's fine.
And the heads you were talking about, well, which were you talking, the AFRs or?
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, if the heads turn out to be not a
issue,
I don't think they're going to be a big deal. Somebody on here said the 317 head, which I remember. I think that's the head that was on my CTSV. They are pretty good heads, and they flow pretty well.
What was your CTSV for an engine?
LS6.
Will not fit.
This guy said that they do, and he had them on
a 5.3? On a 5.3 bore motor?
Yep.
Really? It doesn't get a cylinder wall?
I mean, unless I forgot how to read. Oh, no, I lie. You can put a 317 on a 5.3 because I did it.
Really?
Yep. That's what he said. Now, this is Ryan Foxbox. I don't know what that means, but is he reliable? Is he a reliable caller?
I don't know. He could pick up the phone and call 908-751-0211.
Come on, Ryan, call.
Help your buddy Mike out.
Yeah, don't be a pussy.
Tease Tom a little bit. He might be at work or whatever. You don't know. Well, again, I think the whole thing is bore size. Is what you can get around in there for a valve.
Ryan also said drill a hole through the dash harness and HVAC. LOL. Yeah, I think they actually look before they drill a hole, dude.
I would hope so.
Yeah. And it's way outside everything. But you might drill a hole through an air conditioning vent.
Well, yeah, you're going to lose the outer vents
but then you know what happens? A piece of roll bar tubing goes through it and primarily seals it up enough.
Yeah, just throw some duct tape in there first or something to seal it up, and that's it. I wouldn't worry about that.
Little great stuff. That'll do it.
Like that kind of thing, like that kind of inconvenience of a street car that like, oh, that side's not blowing air as cold as the other side. I really don't give a shit. That's not the kind of stuff I'm worried about. I just want everything to work like the car's supposed to work.
Hey, one of you LS guys on the chat room right now, which head actually was on like an 05 LS6 or 04 LS6? No, what? I don't even remember what year my Cadillac was.
Well, I don't know, because an LS6, aren't they 4.0 something bore?
No. An LS6 was a 5.7 when I had it. I don't think they're 4-inch bore. I don't know. I'm saying I don't know.
You sell pistons for this shit.
Yeah, we didn't make them for that.
Okay.
Nope. Oh, that was a long time ago. I think my car was an 05. That's what?
We got Corey here. He says the 5.3, you can do any head LS based as long as it has a cathedral port.
Okay. So was an LS6 a cathedral port head?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
All right.
That I'm fucking 100% sure about.
Well, what was the 5.7 that's in my car is an LS1.
And it's a cathedral port.
And it's a cathedral port. This is where, but you know what I've used as a guide here is even if you go to like Edelbrock or Airflow Research, they kind of just give you their guideline of what fits on their side.
Yeah, LS6 is a 5.7.
5.7.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a 3905 bore.
Yeah.
All right. This is a 3780, right?
The 5.3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we're not going any bigger bore.
3800, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Did I say our blank could go that small?
I believe so.
Okay.
You were talking about an import blank.
Yeah. Okay.
But you understand what I'm saying? I mean, if we're going to go to 3905, what if I'm sure people do this, but the guys that are, I don't necessarily want to reinvent the wheel. I just want to make the wheel roll better than other guys have done it now.
Like smoother wheel.
Yes. Better tread, nicer bearings.
Yep.
Maybe stiffer sidewall, whatever.
All right. We're getting a whole bunch of info flowing in right now.
Yeah.
Including somebody wants to call in.
All right. We get 908-751-0211.
They just gave the phone number out.
Well,
why is everybody so afraid to call in?
I don't know. I mean,
probably because you're going to make fun of them, Mr. Fucking.
I have not. Listen, if there's anybody that's a little more hostile to the listener, it's you. You beat up on the one guy.
What guy?
Somebody called and I was like, dude, what the fuck? I can't remember what she even did.
Yeah, I think you're right.
What, our Hillsborough guy or no?
No,
not him. What, tonight? Not tonight. No, it was a while ago.
It was a while ago. What, do you think you got better?
No, I know I didn't get better. I don't think I'm getting any worse.
But what I was saying is that everything I looked at that were cylinder heads that would go on that given engine were always like they tell you cathedral port head and then which engine do you have? And this wasn't for compatibility of like, okay, we feel our runner volume is good or bad. It was what would physically fit.
So, yeah, they're saying the stock bore is 3898 for the LS1, the LS1 package.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a 5.3 is 3780. I think.
Well, they're saying this is 3898. I don't know. We gotta get some better than Wiki.
All right, we got Sean here. Maybe he can clear this up.
Clear it up for us, Sean.
For the guy that makes pistons that doesn't know what bore things are.
No, I know we don't make them for them.
I am not an expert by any means.
All right, good night.
Well, I had both my car builder, Jason Dozier, and my tuner.
He's name dropping.
James Carter on over the past few weeks. So I was asked to call in about my car build.
Oh, shoot. Good. Fire away.
So I got a 98 Z28 that I pulled out of a field 3 years ago with the blown LS1. It's now got an Iron Block 408 RPM level 5 or level 6 4L80 trans, quick performance 9-inch. We're switching the car now from nitrous to twin turbo, so I can be more competitive in Dragweek next year. Also installing a 10-point cage so that I won't have to slow the car down because my 6-point only allows me to go 999. But last weekend at Baytown, Texas, I made my fastest pass ever, nitrous pass in the car at 938. And with twin turbos, we're shooting for the 850 range.
Yeah, well, that's where you'd have to be for this class. Now, the foundation of your motor, is that a stock block or which block is it built on?
Yeah, it's an LQ9
okay.
iron block with ported LS3 heads, LS3 intake. Some of the stuff's going to change. We're going to boost this nitrous motor, see how long it lasts. If it blows, I've got another 370 to put in it.
I think you were the guy that Kevin was talking to me about that had the RPM 4L80 transes, and you got through Dragweek and it broke after you got done, right?
I did. Well, it was brand new right before Dragweek.
Okay.
And then about 2 months ago, it started. I ended up rolling a sprag in it, and long story short, RPM says they can't build a stronger 4L80 than what I've got in the car now.
See that, and this is where this is what sucks, because and of course nobody that you talk to is going to say, "Oh, our stuff is maybe you'll make it." I mean, you talk to the guys at RPM, and they kind of flat out told me what I wanted to do. They were also the guys that quoted me. I think they were treating it like I was calling up and I was like, "Hey, I have a Corvette, and a brick just fell on my head, and I want to put a 4L80 in my Corvette for no reason."
Right. And they said we need $35,000.
Well, yeah, it was like $26,500, and that's, and I'm like, I don't need to buy the car. I have a car. I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. Well, they were talking about doing the installation, the entire rear end, and all, and I guess because that's the only way I could come up with that kind of number. But when I started talking to the guy about longevity, he's like, piece of cake, hundreds of runs, never break, never be a problem, and this is an integral part of this thing. If this is not going to work and it's not going to be durable enough, then it has to get a 400, then a regular 400.
Well, keep in mind, what year vet are you talking about?
01, I think. Yeah, 01, 02.
So keep in mind, you're talking about a car that's considerably lighter than a full weight F-body Camaro. Weight is what kills my car. I've got a buddy with auto conversion Z06 that has an RPM 4L65 trans in it. The car consistently, cuts, 60 foots, and the car only makes 545 rear wheel horsepower.
What do these things weigh? Like when you're talking about the stuff, because I don't know how light this Corvette's going to be. I can
tell you, it's that car's probably going to be around the 3,400 pound range. If I have to guess, my Camaro with me in it weighs 3,790 pounds. Okay,
well, I was thinking that based on where my car's quote unquote shipping weight is. Now, I haven't thrown this thing up on scales. I have the Circle Track scales. I guess I could just roll the thing up, see where we start with. But you put this all together and put a driver in it. I can't see how it can't be 3,600 by the time you've added turbochargers, an LS iron block, from the 5.3, intercooler, all the roll cage, parachute mount. You start piling shit on this car. I can't see how with a driver it couldn't be 34, 35, 36. I don't even know where to stop guessing. I really don't know.
Sure.
So, when you get into that, RPM said, trans, no problem. But, are they saying no problem because you're the average jackass who's going to drive around the street and spin the tires whenever you jump on a throttle? Or do they understand that, I wasn't kidding, this has to go fast? A lot.
Yeah, in my case, I know I'm right at the limits of a 4L80. I just have it in my gut that I don't want to lose overdrive, so I can take the car on the Hot Rod Power Tour, for example.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I want this thing to be. So what were they breaking? They were breaking a sprag?
I did break the sprag in that. So it basically, when it went to shift from first to second, it would almost go into neutral.
Yeah. Yeah, with just freewheel.
Yeah, but Howard said he ran this thing in something with big power.
Yeah, he did. And he said, you'll never have a problem with it. He told me about guys that are running around and they do go to the racetrack. Yep. So, this is where I don't like the conflicting information.
Yeah, but Howard does the shit like daily.
I know.
And he wouldn't recommend it to you or me if he thought it wasn't going to work. I don't believe he would have.
How many passes did you have on your trans before you heard it?
Oh, not too many, maybe 30.
Ooh.
At the most.
And how much power?
It's making about 900.
And how much weigh?
3,790 pounds.
So 3,800. And if it's a nitrous car, you're probably leaving a little harder. You're probably I would like to think that part of this is turbo stuff would be a little easier on equipment.
Oh, without a doubt. And on the new trans, we went from a 240 first gear to a 210. So the car is launching much softer.
Yeah.
That being said, last weekend I made my fastest passes ever in the car with a much slower 60-foot. Before that trans broke, the original RPM, this car went 124 60-foot.
Okay.
Well, I think trans is going to be fine, especially with the power management and everything that we're going to be working with. We're going to be fine.
I can't stress this enough. I don't think that we're just going to be like, oh, first time, go to Dragweek, drive there, go race, drive home. I can't imagine it's going to go that easy. But you got to start somewhere.
No, it's not going to go. We're going to go there. We're going to win. Then we're going to drive home.
Please note that Tom said that Mike is much more pessimistic.
Yeah, but that's why we're going.
I know we're going. I mean, you don't ever want to go somewhere and think that you don't have a shot at winning. To me, that means that we have the equipment required.
Oh, we're winning.
And it's up to us to not fuck up or decide if we wanted to fix it on the side of the road somewhere.
If a part breaks, it's out of our control.
Okay.
Other than that,
last year was my very first drag week. I've been watching my buddies go for years, and it honestly, in my opinion, yes, it's great to win. But I came in 13th in street race small block power adder, and I was ecstatic. It's just the environment. It's a phenomenal thing to participate in, whether you win or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think
we've heard that from everybody down there.
No, and I mean, the part of this is to have fun. I get it. Yep. But I'm a little bit too much of a dick to just have fun.
Same.
A little New Jersey, maybe.
Yeah, we're gonna.
But
maybe they'll fix us.
If your competition actually arrives with a car, cough, cough, that's your main car to beat.
Listen,
no, it's not. That's not even part of the picture.
No. At this point.
Well, there's a picture that flashes across our Facebook screen.
That's the only picture that it needs to be talked.
All right, well, Sean, man, hit me up on Facebook and we'll text more. And as we all get closer to getting to Drag Week, I want to have I'll have you come on. I want to have Jason come on. I want to have James come back on. Yep. We got to have all these guys like updated on their plans and what they're doing.
Yep.
And I mean, like this show. I mean, this is the other thing. This is what's wrong with me. I don't want to use one of the many things. Remember that list I was making for the car? Yeah. This one is much longer.
I know.
I don't want to use this show like it's all about me and what I'm trying to do. It's not. I'd rather talk to these people most times off the air. But it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
Everybody converges to listen to our show, so.
No, and I understand that. So I don't want to make this like it's always about me because I am not that guy. So when I talk to people like Tim and with Howard and everybody else, I mean, I like the idea. This whole Drag Week thing to me is fantastic.
Right.
I think the idea is great. I think the principle is great. And guys like Sean and guys like Jason and James and Jason's partner, all those guys, I mean, those are guys I want to have on because they have amazing stories to tell about this.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's where I want to go. So when we talk, it probably should have been entitled Drag Week. It should have been entitled Mike is trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with his whole project and where he gets started.
Well, somebody in our mixer put a name up to contact about Drag Week and Corvettes.
Yeah,
they went way back there.
There's quite a few people. And there's, on the Drag Week side of things, there are tons of people we could have on.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely, Sean, hit me up on a Facebook message. Just be patient with me because I'm not on there every day. I got to work.
Yeah, he's kind of anti-Facebook too, so.
Will do.
All right, man. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling, dude.
All
right.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
There's so much collective knowledge we can get from all these guys.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want this to be like I'm siphoning information from everybody to
Why
figure
not?
Because,
well, Fudd has a pro stock guy on his side.
All right, stop it. No, I mean, it's not like siphoning. Actually, if you do it on the air, it's actually better because it's disseminating information to everyone, to all the listeners. It's helpful.
Okay.
You're not buying that, are you?
No.
I tried.
No. I mean, but I do want to have, and I know Jason wants to come back on.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk.
He was good, too.
And I think that he might have gone away from the 5.3.
Ooh.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, you know what? Next week, we're going to argue about that because I'm leaning more towards LQ9. And we could still keep your structure and go 4-inch because those things go like 4.250 if you want to.
What?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Is that an iron?
Dude,
or a little?
hold on.
That's the 6.2 iron block.
The 6.2 iron block,
Yeah.
or is that the?
But the 6.0 is the 6.2, I think.
Now listen, got to understand.
Mhm.
I'm not an LS guy.
I'm not either.
What is an LQ9 in?
An Escalade, Suburban.
Oh, the truck.
So it's a truck one. Okay, I thought that might have been code for that LS 350. Actually, beat out your Merlin block weight block,
No.
like that Howard was talking about.
No. It's stock block. Stock GM block. Like an Escalade.
Yeah, I see a lot of them coming up on, the on sloppy and stuff like that. People that are scoring them.
Well, I guess it depends.
They're scoring them, yo.
Yeah, scoring.
Yeah, I guess it depends how they're made and structure and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, block. Well, you know this. Block rigidity is everything. It's head gasket sealing, it's ring sealing, it's bottom end stability, and that's why I think the 5.3s have
Agreed.
been successful. And that's the only reason I was going that direction.
Okay.
All right.
I'm with you.
All right. Anything else?
No.
Tad,
Yes.
we let you off the hook. We didn't even talk about you in football.
Oh, we're not forgetting, though.
Oh, are we now?
Don't worry.
Good
Next
job.
week we'll talk about Tad and football.
Volleyball. stuff
Gym
like
class.
Yep. Gym
The whole
class,
nine.
the football being lodged. We're not getting into that.
that. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week. I don't know what we've got on tap, but we've got something.
Yeah, we'll get some.
See ya.